Hi, hello, and welcome to the Divine Lovers series brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. And I was sent to deliberate some findings for the divine partnership, the sacred union. However, that's choosing to manifest right now. However, that is manifesting right now. So I have a little bit of clarification. We're going to use these for our clarifiers, which also means deliberating our findings, and we're going to impose the guidance from the Pop of Love Oracle. That's by Vibe About It Tarot. These are oracle cards, though. You can get a few different things from Vibe About It. But these are the Pop of Love Oracle. Okay, so we have it. It's one of the Libra cards here. It's called Balancing. There is a separate Libra card. So we'll clarify in a moment. Okay, so we are being watched. Lurker. And we got a few things going on. So we might be occupied, maybe even on our grind with the juggling card. We're being watched with the watching card. Creates fake accounts to stay up to date, pretends not to care, but becomes obsessive, late night scrolling a social media platform. Okay, so they should have been done said, even if I am gone, I am still connected to you in some way. I cannot cut myself off completely, but I am afraid to return. My only interaction with you through social media, I miss you. They're not able to say that. So, but they're starting to feel some kind of remorse. Okay. And this is a sacred connection. They might be tied up with familial obligations, from my understanding. It could be anything from a generational curse that might be bringing separation to actual other partner. So they are looking to renew, refresh themselves. We have reinvention here. That's the revitalized reinvigoration. However, we're under magical muse. So that's one of the couple energies where it's like we might have been a catalyst to them. We're a source of inspiration from beyond. We can't be a lover, or we could just be simply an infatuation. So sometimes we get a little bit of writing on the wall. Our gift gets triggered and we run the whole way with it instead of run to creator and get guidance. Instead of going to consult with the Lord, since we were read in on some kind of way. Okay, so the other side is the runner though. So that, and we're under Taurus energy, which just means we're practical. We're not going to be doing no confusing lurker-dirk. You can't come up, come forward, come through, pull through, come correct, stand correct. If you can't be about that, I'm already overwhelmed and not interested. So this may come together around winter, or they could be going through a winter, which is starvation, rigid. So it could be too cold. They could be getting burned. They could be depleting. They could be starving, running out. Okay. And what they're used to getting people chasing after them or loving all over them or trying to handle up on a situation that they're really the creator of. They're used to people chasing. They did like to do that toxic chase me little game. And the situations become disorganized because we're not doing that. So they're trying to pendulum swing. They're trying to chase us when they're normally the runner. But it's because they're used to engaging in a toxic way, and we're not on the toxic side. We're not on the karmic side. We're on the divine side. They're on the karmic side because they're not, or they're going through their glow up too late. They might be reinventing themselves. They might be waking up or balancing out, rejuvenating, be feeling remorseful, whatever. But they're still in the thick of it with the winter and the runner. They're still getting triggered. They're still being starved. They're still, suffering cleanses, austerity purifies, No, I'm sorry, suffering purifies, austerity cleanses. And austerity it usually comes from conflict and change. So adversity is the catalyst of success. Conflict breeds change. So there's fine if we have a little conflict, fine if we have one little red flag, but it needs to be addressed. And if we can't address that together, growing together, then we're going to address that together, growing apart. If my needs aren't getting met, you're not going to help me or facilitate space and co-create space and collaborate for me to get my needs met. I'm going to do that, but without you. So we're either growing together or growing apart. So it becomes karmic when we grow apart. It becomes catalytic when we recognize, usually it's a spiritual union that steps into the physical to a member of the soul group. This is very much compatibility, chemistry, connection, as it is timing. Sometimes it might not be the right time on either side. And if we try to stay together when it's clear that we need to do it apart, it's because the connection, that love that we feel, is more for them and not ourselves. Okay, so this was a fateful encounter. It woke us up to a higher form of love. And we're juggling down here because we don't want to be confused by emotions or focus on emotions, or we don't want to deal with emotional things because we're too much on the grind. We're dealing with multiple obligations, maybe even too much on our plate, probably family ties. We might be in some cycle trying to wrap something up. There might even be a creative project or some type of thing that we're working towards on stability. It can be a job thing or a creative project. We're more on that grind, and this energy might be trying to come up, but they're still a runner and they're still frozen. They may come through, pull through when it gets the worst. So it still has a couple more months running up. Sometimes it takes the pain to change, has to become less than the pain to stay the same. This might be, well, runners are avoidant. So that's an avoidant personality style. And they're expecting us to be anxious so that we'll reach out to them consistently. But that just gives them information. It doesn't call them to action. It might be because we're very connected and very spiritual, and they're still unawakened in some sense, but they're starting to see the writing on the wall with angel numbers. We're very connected with this Pisces energy. They're wanting us to be cautious, anxious, and we're actually being cautious. So, but that's the disorganization because they are the runner. They're the avoidance style. We address things, but we're self-governing, we're self-directed here. So we're self-governing, self-directed, self-reliant, self-guided. We're not checking in with them for permission to wipe our behind. You know, we can live our life and make our own decisions, and we don't need to be a we all the time, especially if they're not coming through, coming hard, coming harder. They're still all up in the air with their little BS and all of that. And then some asking us to co-sign whatever that is, whatever that looks like. It's unclear, so we're unbothered. If it's not an overwhelming yes, and it's an absolute no. So until it's clear, we can't be clear on what we want to do because we don't care. Until it's clear, we don't care. And even so much so that we're willing to disconnect from the relationship. Right now, we're just dislodged. We feel connected to them, but there's nowhere to settle. And that's not something they can tell us. They have to show us. It's going to come through in the energy first and foremost. So they're on a situation where things are running out. They recognize that, but then they're going to go until they starve before they reach out. And it's BS carried over from previous lifetimes too. So we need to let them do whatever they're doing. Because if we already poured our everything into this connection, let it die, let it starve. So they're going to go through a crisis. Tower card here. Because they're getting stripped in some kind of way. That's the power of the situation. Somebody is clear on what it is. That's this king of Swords here, but they're choosing to live without. So they're devoid of love. The heart's not open. And it's stripping them physically. They're going to go through a financial depletion, a health depletion. They're no longer going to get support, and they're going to be locked into that situation with the Seven of Wands. They're going to stand their ground even though they're losing out because of an ego thing. It's not coming out of love, it's coming out of ego. So it was very much catalytic. That tells me that they're trying to make us come off of our throne. They're trying to, we're too powerful for them, and that's the part they're fighting. But they're unable to recognize that what they want has come along because there was a whole narrative connected to that. It didn't come in the way that they wanted it. So they might not even have been able to recognize that it had come out. So there needs to be some regulation over this chaos here, because we're doing this Hierophant with the Five of Pentacles when we really should be doing the Lovers card. We should be strong in love, not falling out and process and protocol. And they're unable, unwilling to wake up. There might have also been some witchcraft over this, somebody else's intention, somebody else's energy reigns supreme in the connection, whether it was intentional, unintentional, conscious, or unconscious. Again, we're coming into some kind of startling truth here, and there is going to be a power shot, a shot across the bow, really. So we haven't given up on them completely with this, maybe leaning towards yes. It's clarified by, well, we started to have connections for them during the summer. We've just moved into the fall. So however things went in the summer, it confirmed the fact that they were waking up, but their love's not pure. It's called infatuation here. That's not the being treasured and adored. That's being infatuated, lusted after, desired. They're going to need to feel some of our withdrawal. Queen of Swords and Eight of Cups. We've grown tired. We need more. We're going to withdraw energy and move on. They might be timid or attached in some way, and we're leaving the attachment. We're going to let it die if that's what it's called for. Ultimately, we become rigid. We're needing boundaries and standards, and we might need to oppose something in the connection. Queen of Swords there. This is where we're at. Okay, and now we have they've doubled down on their low vibrational energy. So they don't have anything more than some basic BS to run. They're not going to pull through with anything significant. When our destiny is calling, life is asking us to be bigger, brighter, and better, to move on, to move forward, and they're asking us to stay the same, to be blocked and be basic so they can barely catch up. So that just suggests that we might have outgrown something, maybe even them. So their heart's coming through now, but only because they realize they can miss us, they can lose out on us, but also because they recognize that we're growing into a whole lot. And it was always there, but their eyes were covered. Four of Cups. That they're guilty of not recognizing. Now they're trying to secure the situation, but it's some kind of strategy. I wouldn't trust it, to be honest, because they're recognizing that their hopes and wishes and dreams are falling out of their hands, their fingers. They didn't recognize that we were trying to give them something authentically the whole time. And now we've broken free of it. We're detached and we're withdrawn from the connection. So this is more karmic. Now, some of us have been holding space for a reconciliation, and it's not a reconciliation, it's a reunion. So it would have been left on very good terms. If we've been in any type of way agitated or anxious about this connection, it wasn't what I'm talking about. Because they were going through some kind of healing. They were quarantined in some way. Maybe they weren't able to get divorced completely. Maybe they weren't able to get out of something completely that kept a physical distance. Maybe they needed to switch something in their house. Now they're able to come towards us in some kind of way. That's the good side. On the other end, however, we're going into something new because something's got to be stripped. Only divine connections, we're only allowed to have divine connections. Okay, so let's strip and let me tell you more about that. Yeah, some of us are gonna be preparing for a breakup here, but that's because this other side is not loving. They're not able to open up their heart and be in the love energy. So nothing spiritual is gonna grow where they are, because they're devoid of spirituality. That's just Five of Pentacles. And this is the truth that's gonna come out. Only love ascended beings can be around us. That means they're spiritual in some way. Okay, so this is the Lover's card. Exalted, benevolent, elite, heavenly, chosen is the Lover's card. Chosen beings, chose us. We can only have spiritual companions, spiritual sisters, spiritual brethren. We can't be around any of the fallen. That's just how the new energy is emerging. And now we have a double king here. So that's really what's going on. And here's that fallen energy I was talking about, the tower. We've got to get away from fallen because we need to be around chosen. And then we have the double king, which is the absolute authority, the angel, Michael. And we also have God, the King of Cups. So this was the soulmate. I'm not getting twin. It's karmic or false. So it might be a false flame or a karmic catalyst. Because I did just get the devil with this Five of Pentacles. It's not good. Let's see what this karma is here. Yeah, it's the evil eye. We are uncontrollable. They need to best us. They need some kind of dominion because it's a competition with them. It's not a true love. So that's this person that we need to get rid of. They are discarding us because we're evolving past them. They're not willing to grow with us. They're growing apart from us because they need to be better than us. They're not willing to participate in a connection where we have advantages. Maybe we're doing better than them, or we're more talented than them, or we're making more money, or we're more powerful. We're not weak. We're not in some kind of inferiority, lack of self-worth. We have too much of that. And it is a battle. They want to have dominion over us. Prince of the Knight of Wands and the Devil card. They want to have dominion over us. Yeah, it's some kind of it's a demonic thing. Low vibrational. Usually, it's bottom of the barrel. Now, mainly, I'm seeing that the the horizon is very bright. So the future for us is going to be super great. And there's some, yeah, they're just being used by the enemy. They're not even an agent. They're being used by the enemy. So they don't have anything that they stand for. They stand for nothing. They're not righteous people that we're attached to. So that's why the tower, because that's a hard truth. And this is true. So some of them are even willing agents. They're ultimately being used as agents. Okay. Ultimately, they're being used as agents. And that's the Three of Pentacles, Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands corresponding to the Queen of Wands, it makes it safe because Three of Pentacles is agents of the devil. It's Mars and Capricorn. So we're safe here because the tower is here with this Queen of Wands. We're safe from influence of others, especially with the Three of Wands out. But I think what we need to be aware of is that this old person we're connected to is not safe. They are an agent or being used as an unknowing agent of the dark. Now they're coming through and coming out of that, but in some way we've outgrown them. We're not going to be at a level where they can, because they're just coming into spirituality, so they still need some kind of groundedness in that. And we're too loosey-goosey, hippy-dippy, trippy with the Pisces energy. They need more Taurus energy, something grounded. Even with our Leo energy, it's too far out that they don't understand another person with personal power. They're used to having people cater to them. They're not going to understand another person that's stronger than them or better than them or stronger is really the word. Somebody that can hold their own. That doesn't make sense to this person. They cannot compute. And there's still way too many things to regulate even after they wake up. It's just that they'll be finally doing their work with accountability, maybe just self-accountability. We need to oppose something. They want us to heal, to surrender to whatever, or to yield to them, and we want to oppose them. And it's about the truth. It's about the truth. So it's not even about their love for us. It's one of the most malignant types of toxicity in a relationship. It is a very toxic personality style that we would call more malignant, because they have dominion over the infernal kingdom. They are sinful. They're living in iniquity. We can't engage because it'll dirty, it'll cloud, it won't be clean, it won't be pure, it won't be in alignment, it won't be towards the divine, it won't be in alignment with source of creation, it'll be of the enemy, of the dark. Profane in some sense. Yeah, there it is again. It's the dark snake, the Leviathan, the black snake. Yeah, it's because we're chosen. Nine of Cups. We keep getting it's the god of evil. It's the god of chaos. Yeah, so we're dealing with a sorcerer, somebody that was trying to draw power from us, a sorcerer, a sorceress, and it's no longer willful. We're too strong. So that's why they need us to be subordinate. They're not able to use us. They need to co-create. They need to participate. They need to have skin in the game. They're not unwilling to do that. I mean, it's not just toxic, they're parasitic. Okay. And then the devil flipped over. So hold on. Oh, yeah. So it's an energy swap. Okay. So we have angelic protection. we're made of paradise. We're made of the eternal kingdom. And they're an unwilling vessel. So they were born into the flesh. And the spirit overtook them. And it came in through love, Two of Cups with the Knight of Cups here. But we're going to be assigned to a different person. But this person has too many, they're impure. They have too many ties to the dark side. We're getting something new, full card. Because we do have a promise. And right now we're going through a separation from our connection, Queen of Swords, especially with the Hangman. And we're going to be given something new, Six of Pentacles to support. We're getting a new twin. This is the twin card, Temperance. And it's because of a promise. We have a something already that we worked out with the Lord before we came here. And this person that we're connected to, they were our twin, union in sync. But there's not a lot of soulmate left in here because we're so far disconnected by vibration. Yeah, they're living in sin, Seven of Cups. They haven't necessarily trespassed against us, so we haven't, because all the other people that have been reassigned in the queue under the Sacred Union, it's because there was a trespass, Seven of Swords, so it was something more sinister, evil. But those punishments were going towards damnation. It wasn't going towards purgatory. It was going towards the pit. So those who were just sinful and not trespassers, they're up now. That was a different docket that was being addressed. So very soon we're going to be reassigned. We might have seen some of our sisters and brothers, but to be honest, the people that we were seeing getting reassigned, they were actually going through harder, harsher karma than us. Or the last to be picked is the first to be chosen. So some of it is we needed to detach. We were participating in some way, hosting energy, co-signing, because they had access to our energy in some way. It might have been because there was some egregore, some thought, feeling, pattern, process. It was a simulation within us. A program was running, a belief that they had recently triggered. They were the last one to trigger, so they were still receiving royalties from that. We solidified some kind of sickness, or a latent sickness became manifest, triggered when we were with them, and it was still running on. It was still had life. It was trauma, basically. So we were healing from trauma. Three of Swords would be the trauma. Four of Swords is Three of Swords would be the Four of Swords is the trauma. Three of Swords is the wound. Here's Three of Pentacles, so it was still running. It still had life. Because we were running around with our heart open and we weren't clear on what it was that we were trying to manifest. We were sharing way too much. We needed to be mindful of our associations. That's the thing about the Page of Cups, Page of Wands. You need to be mindful of what you believe. Page of Pentacles, you need to be mindful about the agreement. You need to make sure the other person's verbally recognizing what you're bringing to the table. And then the Page of Swords, you really need to be mindful of promiscuity. Don't provide access to everybody. Here we need to get to the bottom of our power, what it is in the situation. Two of Wands and the Hermit. It's because there's some type of Venus in Libra, or some kind of miscarriage of justice that's being corrected now. Justice card and the Page of Swords. It can be that somebody has an Aries rising, or something's just beginning. It might also be that we've called in karma here. It's a delayed justice as well. Karma finally comes through in some way. Because we do get to move on. We're being prepared to make it through something here. So we're going to impose the guidance from the vial of love and also the Egyptian oracle here by Sylvia Alasia. Then we have Mut being ordinary. So that means going to the good and the bad and the ugly and constantly being steady with your natural energy frequency vibration. You need to have an aura that spirals upwards towards the divine, towards universal love and one consciousness, and also something that is loving, caring, and kind, basically believing in faith, love, and hope. Okay. So if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for something. And then the things you stand for need to be righteous. That's what this is talking about. Because evil will visit several times, but if your heart is locked into simple, sacred things, it'll miss you every time. And if you do fall, you'll be judged righteously. You'll be judged rightly. And even when you do make a mistake, the normal, ordinary thing is when you realize that there's the difference between evil, accidental evil, and intentional evil. When you tell accidental evil that they're harming you or hurting you, they'll be very apologetic. When you tell a person the truth and they wake up immediately, or they at least become accountable and reflective, even if they have earnesty and integrity, at the very least, not this flippant, righteous indignation, then that's something different. This is a soul we can work with. I'm talking about these toxic people. Somebody's trapped in a situation where they need us to yield to them. And the reason that they're running is because we're too strong. They're used to somebody playing the toxic BS game with them. And we withdrew our energy, we didn't actually chase. And so now it's become disorganized, where they're constantly watching us to learn why we said no, number one, because we're the one that got away. And number two, they're watching us succeed without them, and it's triggering all of their little shadow, because they are a toxic personality style. Mainly, they have this meticulously curated narrative that they impose and force over others, and anybody who doesn't fall into that delusion, confusion gets segregated and attacked, usually, whether covertly or overtly. And this is what happened with us and this person. Now, there was some kind of sacred origin of this connection, but it's from a previous lifetime here, past life. So we shared telepathy, intuition with them already. Time does stop in the present, or we access old codes or old libraries and our old records. And there was an instant connection and or deep emotions, a deep familiarity with each other, which is another opening. So even if we're withdrawn or we're separated, the enemy can still access us through our connection to them. We're going to need to cut some kind of cord, because one thing that's being drained is our abundance, which could be our health or our wealth. It's our network and our net worth. So the health is your first wealth, because we're a priestess of source. You can tap into source directly through us. And they needed that through a sacred union, but not through some abusive, maladaptive, idiosyncratic, perfunctory, misaligned, misguided, misdirected connection. They're trying to steal our spot or block us from getting into the spot. And unfortunately, our job is to be a creator goddess, the sun goddess, so we're going to have to put a stop to them. The nicer thing we could do is cut the cord, but we do have, they're operating with the black snake, with the agent of darkness, the enemy. And it's come to us in the second deck here. So we're getting Genesis, perseverance, and or being ordinary. Genesis, perseverance, and being ordinary, with a little bit of segment. So it's saying like we need to tap into our shadow just a little bit, or like show a little bit of sass a little bit, or grit our teeth just a little bit. The enemy's got to clap. I mean, the energy's got to clap back. The energy has got to clap back. Yeah. So do it with love, because Bastus popped out. We had Sekmen and Ma'at before, now Bastus came. So we got to do it with love. We don't need to call death and destruction for them, but they're going to learn. What I do with my enemies is I petition for them not to go to hell, but to purgatory. Because a lot of my enemies, if they go too hard, they'll get damnation. They won't just get the infernal. So if you do end up in the pit, I want you to be able to get out. There's a level, once you go past that level, you don't come back until your soul is destroyed. That's the kind of purification that you go through. And I think any energy you send me, it can be made into something good. But also, it's because I'm of the 8th house. There's a lot of projection. Coming across, and you're going to go through your worst nightmare anyways. If you attack me, at least. It's just the nature of my being. And that's kind of the energy here that you have to have when you're with the twin. Okay. It's kind of how the ritual goes, in a sense. There's a lot of missing pieces, and you have to have all the different whole. You need to be whole when the twin activates into the physical from the spiritual. It's always just a taste, unless you've gone through enough lifetimes to be whole in this lifetime, both of you, and then they can come into the physical. Because it's very much a godly thing. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. Take good care. Until we meet again, read again. Namaste, Dandavat, and Ashe. If anything resonated deeply with you, like, comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. Bye-bye.